Hi guys,
Hello.
how are you doing? It is June 23rd today, which is day 95 of lockdown. So we should stay right at the start. We are going to go live for day 100, so that is this Sunday. We will go live on YouTube at 8 p.m. that day. I don't know how it works. I assume people can comment as we go. So do make a point to watch us live if you want to ask us anything or talk to us about anything or put us on the spot and embarrass us. You can do so this Sunday from 8. So yeah, on YouTube. 8 p.m. So yes, it will obviously then go out earlier than they normally do. So one will go out that morning at 10 because that will be recorded on Saturday night, and then Sundays will go live on Sunday night. So yes,
And then we'll share it the next morning on Facebook, maybe.
yes, indeedy. So yeah, that's this Sunday, the 28th, 8 p.m. So yeah, haven't done that before. Don't know what it entails. Don't know how it will work. But if you turn up, more chance that you'll be able to interact with us. Otherwise, we'll just waffle as we normally do, doing these anyway, because it's not like we edit them. They get recorded in one take. So yeah, might just be one that you can watch live. But I think you can interact. I think sort of comments can come up and we can sort of talk to whoever's watching. So that'll be fun. Yesterday was a bit heavy, as we're aware. Hopefully today won't be heavy in the same sense, although I'm pretty sure, have some epic moaning to do. But on the subject of yesterday's topic, which we won't go into in as much depth, but you were saying that there's an article that was really good that we would like to share.
My friend Louise Lee has written an article basically addressed to sort of young men in comedy, or older
I think
men
just
in comedy.
men.
Just men in comedy,
Men.
yes.
Yes, I wish it was only the young ones that were idiots, but it's all men.
and it's sort of saying like, basically, look, don't be creepy guys, and so it's like, well, it's not just a lot of the things that come out. There've been allegations we've been talking about of kind of quite severe sexual assault and things like that, and abuse and but there are other ways in which men behave. Not all men, but some men behave and make women feel uncomfortable or unsafe or uneasy.
And they might not realise that that's really what's going on. That they might think, oh, it's harmless flirting, or it's just a joke. And it's just, well, good rule of thumb for it, I think, is don't do anything to a female fellow colleague that you wouldn't like a male colleague doing to you.
Yeah.
So touching, making suggestive comments, things like that.
And it's sort of saying that, you know, and a lot of people think, well, I see other people do it and no one says anything, or maybe I do it and the woman doesn't complain, you know, she sort of laughs it off. And it's like, well, yeah, because they might not
feel comfortable to call you out on it.
Yeah, and it might be that they've had instances where they've tried to call people out on their behaviour and then that person has been aggressive or behave bad, and you might think, well, I would never do that. How could they? But they don't really know you. They don't know how you're going to respond in that circumstance. So it's better that you just don't do the horrible behaviour. And then
it's better for everyone. You know. Basically, it's a very good article. I will share the blurb, but basically, it's like an open letter to men in comedy from women in comedy.
I feel like it should maybe be given out standard issue to just anyone who's getting into comedy.
Well, to be honest, across the board in any realm, really.
If you're not a comedian, there's probably some transferable stuff there anyway.
That's sort of one of the things that I think is something to take away from all of this. I have. And every woman I know has been made to feel uncomfortable, and 99% of the time you don't say anything. You try maybe to take yourself out of the situation politely and sweetly, and basically try not to offend the person who's making you uncomfortable, which is a bit messed up, really, isn't it? Like, because you should be able to go, can you stop being a dick? But actually, because yes, the person you're talking to may well take that perfectly nicely, but if not, you don't really, as this is just sort of an unfortunate reality of life as a woman, but you don't know how a man will take it if you do something that can be deemed as rejection, and men sometimes get nasty.
Rejection or embarrassment.
Or embarrassment, yeah. They sometimes get a bit mean, get a bit nasty. Sometimes it can get a bit scary. And actually what we kind of learn to do over the years is just sort of extricate ourselves from it. But obviously, let's say you're in a 2-hour car share and somebody keeps saying something that makes you uncomfortable, your only option really is to kind of laugh along and sort of politely try and change the conversation to something you're a bit more comfortable with.
Because you've got a choice to kind of either just go along with the thing or say something and potentially make it worse. And unfortunately, most women have had experiences where they have tried to say something and it has made it worse.
Yeah.
And so
what you
they
might
kind of
find
end up not saying things, and it shouldn't be on the women to kind of have to fix these problems.
So it's really basic advice, but it is good advice. It's things like maybe don't make suggestive jokes, maybe don't make comments on someone's appearance or how they're dressed.
Don't send people messages late at night after a gig.
Yeah, just that's never good. Like, and actually, that's, I have to say, men, stop doing that. If you haven't been talking all night, the first message you get at 1 a.m. when somebody's had a few drinks isn't a nice time to get. Because we know what that is. Like, we're just like, oh God, what's this now? Like, it's not good. Look, guys. But yeah, if you are in a situation where you're with someone and you might be making them feel uncomfortable and be unaware of it, so there's just certain things that you can just avoid doing, and then chances are you'll avoid the problem.
Because if you're really attracted to someone and like them as a person and want to get to know them better, you're probably keen to do that like at any hour.
Yeah.
You know, not when you're feeling horny at 1 a.m.
Yeah. And yeah, just sort of just being overly suggestive. Yeah. If you might be joking, but if it's a joke that you wouldn't make with your male friends, until you've got, like, if you're good friends with someone and you've got rapport, then that's fine. But like, if you don't know someone and it's early on, chances are you're making them feel uncomfortable. They may well not call you out on it at all. They're certainly not likely to call you out on it there and then. What you may find quite often is, oh, I thought it was all going really well, but then the next day I got a text message saying that I'd made her feel uncomfortable. I don't know what that is. Like, oh, she's changed her mind. No, she was uncomfortable at the time, but she just didn't want to be locked in a car with you and piss you off, basically. So just, little rule of thumb that actually doesn't just equate to comedy. Any sort of people, it's things that you can avoid easily, that don't take any effort to not do, and chances are you'll be making people around you feel a lot more comfortable. It's not a nice feeling when somebody's being a bit sleazy or just a bit not taking no for an answer, because like maybe one or two like slightly little flirty things you'll be like, okay, he's flirting, but he'll be able to take the fact that I'm not flirting back, and then actually it seems that it's like, oh no, must try harder, so then they just double down and go hard, and then actually it becomes quite uncomfortable, because you essentially know that the transaction is, I want something from you, I want something from you, I want something from you, and you're going, I'm gonna have to say no, and it's gonna be really awkward and uncomfortable, and I just don't want to have to deal with it. So yeah, just don't do it, and then everyone's a winner. But yeah, it's a great article. I think it's not a sort of a really ridiculously long, and it's not ridiculously heavy actually. It's just sort of kind of like, you know,
short and light and
these
to
are
the point. It's
some
not
rules of thumb for the future.
That's it. I should have said that. It's not heavy reading.
No.
It's not a slog. It's not going to bring you down or
no trigger warning required or anything like that. But
it's
quite
a light read, and it's quite a short read and quite breezy, but well written and to the point.
Yeah, just kind of things we would like you to know. So yeah, I would highly recommend that as a quick read, which I'll put the blurb in. Well, actually, I say I'll put the blurb in. You might be writing the blurb for this today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I am going to my friend's garden to have a couple of drinks in the garden. And depending on how long we waffle for, might be how long I've got to blurb means how long you've got to blurb.
I was thinking about this, because you're going for a nice socially distanced garden party with your friend. I
don't think we'd call it a garden party, but
a catch up with your friend.
I don't think two people makes a party, does it?
Well, you know, let's talk it up. Let's make the most of these.
Sorry, El.
What gatherings we are allowed to have.
A fantastic, gorgeous, amazing catch up with a person.
Oh, we had quite the rave with your parents the other weekend, didn't we?
Having another one tomorrow. Tomorrow is my mum's birthday, so it's Chinese in the garden tomorrow rather than curry in the garden. But that's going to be nice.
Chinese.
Yeah. I don't know how good that Chinese is going to be for vegan stuff, so I might be eating like plain rice. But we'll see.
Ahead of time, maybe.
So many of the noodly things are egg based, so it's quite tricky with Chinese. But there will be some things, but I'm also fussy on some of the things that I can have.
We should look into that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's boring for you.
None of you need to know that. But yeah, the point I was going to make is you're going to for your socially distanced meet up with your friend. I'm going to be here alone in the house.
For the first time in a long time.
And I was thinking about this, like, because you kind of see
You probably haven't been on your own in the evening here since like lockdown. I've left for vets things.
Vets visits is about the only.
And they've always been daytime. You haven't had a night to yourself.
No, but
Since March.
I was thinking about this, and like, could you see it in like sitcoms and stuff and soaps and whatever, where the woman goes out for the night and the man's like, oh,
No.
right, I'm gonna watch the game and have a curry and do all those things I'm not allowed to do when the missus is around, and I'm like,
I let you do all those things. Well, you
I
don't want to do the
basically-
game watching.
no,
Football's back.
I watch the wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. But I let you do
But
that when I'm here.
yes, exactly. I pretty much, and especially in lockdown, where I haven't even gone, like, I haven't even got work to do in the day.
There's a little
I
man.
can basically do whatever I want at any time, within reason, up to a point. But like,
Yeah, I don't know. There probably are things that I wouldn't allow, but you haven't tried to do
I was
them
sort
yet.
of thinking, like, all right, what? Ellie's away. What am I going to do with my night to myself? Carry on reading the book that I was reading when she's been here all day. Carry on watching that sitcom that I've been watching anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes me, well, I can't watch that show because we were watching that together. I'll have to find something new, but that's fine. But like, there's not. What am I gonna? Yeah, you and me will have fun, won't we, Ford? There's a cat looking at me.
Yeah, he's a cute one.
Yeah, we'll have a lads' night in, Ford, eh? Lads. We're gonna get on the beers and the cat food, respectively.
Yeah, you get on the cat food.
He'll have the beers. Yeah, because I don't really like beers.
No. Yeah, I don't know, because it is weird actually. I haven't been out and done anything social without you since March. Anything sociable.
No.
I guess once or twice
Sweet
my mum's
freedom, you'll
been
think.
over in the garden and we've chatted in the garden and you've not come out. But like I'm still in the house. Well, I'm in the garden. But yeah, that's gonna be weird.
You've had a few sort of Zoom meetings, haven't you, with your friends,
Yeah.
where I've been in another bit of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I guess I've had little windows of it while you've been out walking the dog, but not much.
It'll be like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
I'll suddenly have time to think things through.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh God, on that front though, bless your heart. My moods are all over the place, and I've discovered that now, like, because of everything that's going on, so coronavirus itself, social distancing and all of that, but also not knowing when I can work and not knowing what our budget we can deal with, I've now started, as soon as I have conversations about planning a wedding, almost immediately start crying.
Well,
which is not I was planning on enjoying this lovely thing to look forward to for a lot longer.
It was a lovely idea, this getting married, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then the trouble is, we've just suddenly gone, we've both lost our incomes and we don't know when
we can do it, what budget we can even realistically aim towards,
because
or
I don't know
any
when I'll
of
be
that.
able to kind of make any money gigging again. You don't know.
So yeah,
when
whatever
you can open the
ideas
escape rooms
that
and what the uptake will be.
whatever ideas I sort of had pre-COVID for my wedding, they've all had to have a bit of a rethink, which is a bit sad actually. It's a bit depressing. I'm trying to sort of take it as, well, okay, maybe we can just do our own thing and break some of the sort of, you know, things that everybody does for weddings because you have to do them for weddings. Maybe everybody's going to kind of sort of reinvent the important bits and do the bits that they like and kind of chip off some of the bits they don't. And
it's tricky though, because some of the things at conventions
the bits I
quite
really
nice.
like. Yeah, quite a lot of it. Like
I like going to a wedding and I want to have a wedding that people enjoy going to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and I don't want it to look really cheap and naff and like we've done things on a budget, but we will have. But then you start sort of going like, some of the money that you can spend on them is just insane, and they'd be insane anyway. It's not like even pre-COVID we would have had a huge budget for a wedding, but we would have at least been able to sort of go, okay, well, realistically, if we put all of our frivolous spending, just put that aside and that's wedding fund. But we just don't really have frivolous spending because we don't really have any excess money now, and we don't know when that's going to change. So actually, wedding planning, like all of the nice things were like, first dance, and all of those nice decisions were made and were easy, and I was flying. And then as soon as I started looking at like venues and
anything that's going to cost
dress
money.
hire,
well, the
and
other thing,
like,
the cliche is
like suit hire and everything, I was just like, oh fuck.
Well, the kind of cliche is that I can't remember which comedian. I think it might be Ardlo Hanlon, but I could be getting that wrong. He talks about like the minute you get married, you know, and it's like, I want a cake. Okay, that's this. I want a wedding cake. Oh, that's this much.
Yeah.
And it's just the minute you
Could we
put
just have a
some
party and
flowers.
secretly
Yeah,
get
you can have
married
some
at
flower. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't tell the florist it's for a wedding. Just we want some floral arrangements.
Yeah.
For a function.
For a Tuesday.
They want to. Yes. It's gonna be the escape room awards, and we just need
Yeah.
be a lot of dignitaries. So we need some nice flowers for the tables and for the rooms. Just don't mention it's for a wedding because they will just triple the price.
Yeah, it just seems mad. But yeah, so that's a bit depressing. But yeah, I don't know, like, again, I don't know where the tears keep coming from though. I think I've just gone a bit mental. I'm having massive mood swings. You've been very patient with them, but yeah, it's also I feel guilty then because I'm like, oh no, this should be a happy thing. This is a happy thing.
Well,
but I just kind of
like,
really want us to have a really lovely wedding, and then it's a bit depressing that like I don't like for doing it. I want it to be awesome. So if it's not going to be awesome, I'm like, well, should we just like run off to Gretna Green and then have a really nice holiday afterwards? But even holidays might not be a thing that's part of the norm for a while. I think it's going to be all staycations for a while.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the other thing. Is like you pay for the wedding and that's expensive, but then hopefully maybe instead of a registry, you were saying we've already got all the stuff you need in a house. Really,
just everyone give us money.
Maybe people could pay. Maybe some people could pay, and then we'd put that towards a honeymoon. But obviously, if we do an eloping kind of a deal. Well, we won't get any
do
money
people
towards
still
a
get
honeymoon
wedding?
anyway.
Do you still get wedding presents if you don't have a wedding?
Works, does it? That doesn't count. So
yeah, I don't know.
Well, what we do is we just put the wedding on credit cards and then just
and they go, hey guys,
hey
we've
guys,
spent it, so please reimburse.
We're in massive debt. We don't have a registry, but if you could help us out of this terrible debt.
Oh god, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. So yeah, kind of like the original sort of thinking was, oh well, we won't have an ages-long engagement and we'll sort of sort it out quite quickly. But then it's like, actually, in terms of the amount, we're probably gonna have to take some time to save
some money and do all that, which is what.
I don't want to be planning a wedding for years and years, though.
Well, we can take days off. We don't have to speak about it constantly.
Oh god, you'll be over my head though. I just want to get married now. Should we just get married? Let's just get married.
Let's get married. Let's do it this afternoon.
But yes. So anyway, so that's my mood's all over the place. But he's being very patient with me. But I don't know why I keep bursting into tears.
I don't feel like I have to be patient because you're lovely. But I sometimes
it can't be fun me just crying all the time.
But I don't think of it as having to be patient. But I sometimes just feel like, well, like if you're sad, I want you to be happy. But I sometimes do feel like, I almost feel I'm responsible for this because I asked you to marry me.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me to marry you, though. Don't take that back.
But then the knock-on effect is you crying. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, I just want my fairy godmother to come in and just plan a wedding for me.
Yeah. If anyone knows anyone high up at the production offices of Don't Tell the Bride, we could really use the 13 grand.
You can use any clips you like from the blog.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah. For what that's worth. I mean.
I don't know. You in drag was pretty good.
I'm glad that people enjoy this, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think people are lining up to put it on.
I was kind of thinking the proposal.
Exclusive rights. You've got exclusive rights, guys.
I was thinking the proposal would be like handy that they could show it and
that
stuff.
That would be nice. I guess you don't often get that on Don't Tell the Bride, do you?
They give you 13 grand for a wedding. I could do a nice wedding for well, you would have to do a nice wedding for 13 grand, but that would mean I wouldn't have to plan any of the wedding. Brilliant. Because I'm a massive control freak, and I think if I just don't have the option to plan any of it, I'll be like, right, okay, it's on you, suckers, toodles. Nobody's gonna judge me. So yeah, I think like it'd be interesting to see what choices you make, but you know, I'll be up for it. You can have all the stress, and I'll just have to worry about what you're up to. But don't you have to? Because I have watched Don't Tell the Bride, and like I say, like they always make the bloke look like a bit of a numpty, and they always make the bride look like a bit of a bitch. But they do also make you not live together for like a month before the wedding, and that would be tough.
That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
That'd be so weird. It would, I guess. It'd be extra nice though, seeing each other for the first time on your wedding day when you've been desperate to see each other anyway. That would be really lovely, unless you've put me in some awful dress and I'm really embarrassed to be seen in it. Could happen.
But it'd be really strange as well, because we've not been, like, I mean, it's strange for any couple, but most couples are going out to work in the day. But can you imagine if they, like, if we applied to Don't Tell the Bride and they went, right, well, lockdown's over, we were supposed to do a series this year, but we've got some catching up to do. Are you ready to go now? And we went, oh, okay. And then we went from being in lockdown and being around each other like all the time,
24/7
every day.
basically.
Like we said earlier, like I've not been alone in the house for longer than about an hour for the occasional vet's visit in like 3 months. To suddenly being like, kicking around, going,
and I'm not sure. I think you're not even allowed to contact each other. Because I think the risk would be that the groom would ask the bride what she wants. But
let's not say think, because obviously we're avid fans and we watch it a lot, and we'd love to be on the show, guys, because we love the show. It's definitely not just a thing that we've heard of.
That we want money for
no, we know the format inside out because we're big fans.
Yeah, but anyway, that's waffle that we didn't even need to have. Now we're going to go about 10 minutes to talk about the real world.
We're just having our private conversations on camera.
Yeah, we could have had all of these off camera.
Yeah, so restrictions.
So England have gone batshit fucking crazy. Like, they've today, I think it was today that they've announced, but basically an announcement has come out that they are reopening pubs on the 4th of July, from the 4th of July. They're reopening hairdressers. Like, hairdressers I can see, because as long as it's mandatory PPE and sort of distancing between customers, etc. Like, fair enough. I think I can sort of see the urge for that. Pubs, though, seems like such a bad idea, because people are going to be drinking, and drunk people aren't going to social distance, and they're just going to be a melting pot for idiots. It just seems madness to me. Also, they've said that the shielding scheme, so basically currently people who've been advised to shield had a letter and have basically told them that they have to. And as part of that, they've been able to have medicines delivered to them and food parcels delivered to them so that they can get out. Also, they're entitled to mandatory sick pay for their entire time off because they can't be out and about because they're shielding. They've said they're stopping that in August. The virus hasn't gone away. That is literally just that they don't want to spend the money anymore, and they don't want to pay sick pay. So they've said they'll still get sick pay if they get symptoms and have to self-isolate. But these people who are really ill with or have underlying health problems, they might not be actually really ill from day to day, but it may be that they have, say, severe asthma or something. And if they get coronavirus, they'll probably not do well with it.
If that was me, I'd take that as, well, we value your lives until August.
Yeah.
That's how
we've put an end date on how long we're bothered about your life, which is just insanity and so callous. Like, I can't get over that.
Well,
it just feels like they've given up on any semblance of public safety now, and now it's all about getting the economy restarted. And damn the NHS and damn the deaths. It's like, yes, and I think everybody's getting like really relaxed about it because, yes, all of the like daily death rates are coming down and the daily new cases are coming down. There's still about 1,000 new cases every day, roughly. So it's not like it's gone. And today they actually like had a previous fuck up on deaths which they've added to today's. But today's deaths is 170 something. So it's not like this is even close to controlled. They've dropped the sort of a warning level in England to 3, but without any real science to back that up other than they want to. It's insane. I've never been so happy to be in a devolved parliament because Wales is still not really saying anything. The only thing we've got that we're pretty sure on, and they've even said on that they will backtrack if the R rate goes up, and we have had a few outbreaks, so it could, is that they expect that we'll be allowed to travel further than 5 miles from the 6th of July. I think my phone is ringing.
All the stuff we mentioned about shops and things, that's that's in England.
Yes, that's all in England.
And in pubs, I mean.
Yeah, that's not here. Nothing's been said. Nothing's even been said, because actually what they've done every 3 weeks is said what we're hoping to announce by the next one so that you can use that 3 weeks to prepare. So they haven't mentioned anything about pubs reopening. So at best, they will say about that in the next one, which is about 2.5 weeks from now. So then, at best, it would be 3 weeks from then.
So when we talk about pubs, that's in England. We're also in England. They're talking about reducing the
social distancing distance to 1 metre plus. The reason for that is because no pubs basically can run at a profitable level if they can only have capacities that allow for 2 metre distances.
Now,
so they've just reduced what they've said is safe.
With the 2 meter distancing, the World Health Organization, I believe I'm right in saying, actually the advice is
They've always said minimum 1 metre.
minimum 1 meter. So 2 meters, we've actually had a sort of longer distance than a lot of places. But
that's been the one safety net though, because actually all of the rest of the handling has been worse and shoddier.
And also,
so we've had that safety net that maybe at least that level of social distancing has helped it not go catastrophically wrong.
What has happened, speaking from my own experiences, like 2 meters has not been maintained.
No, 2 meters quite often has meant maybe 1 meter.
And I've been trying to maintain it, believe you me. But like, I go out to the woods and the shops, and wherever I occasionally need to go, and it is just people pushing past you and not caring, and there's a 2 meter distanced queue outside the supermarket, and people walk inches away from you along the side of the queue, like pointless, stupid. And that's so I think. My interpretation is, they've said 2 meters in the hope that, no one's going to stick to 2 meters, but it'll get people at kind of 1 meter plus, people making a token effort to stay away from each other.
Yeah, I think it's just going to go to
Whereas
normal.
if you say 1 meter, people essentially, they're going to be
I think that the interactions and
street,
walking past each other in the street will be ordinary walking by. The only thing that it will prevent perhaps is people piling on top of each other at bars for service. I think maybe that will be
because the thing is, like, a lot of pubs, unless it's a big old cavernous Weatherspoons, and we don't want to support those anyway, a lot of pubs are quite small places. They're quite intimate, you have a nice
particularly
kind of
old traditional pubs.
Quite
atmosphere little
in a pub, quite little, and maybe.
If we use, say, the Murringer as an example, that's very narrow. So you're only going to be able to use half of that, basically. You're not going to be able to fit.
It's hard to kind of get about the pub and get past forward and back to the toilets and things.
There's not 2 meters behind the bar to walk past to get to the back of the pub in quite a lot of these places.
If you're working behind the bar and then someone stood at the bar, you're not going to be 2 meters away from them.
No.
And even with the 1 meter, like, it's going to be, and like you say, by the time people have had a couple of drinks, so they're going to be.
That's the bit I'm the most perturbed by, because I think restaurants with table service and carefully seating, I think restaurants, okay, I can go with restaurants, but pubs particularly, now that sport's back on as well, like so people can watch the match in the pub and stuff, people aren't going to maintain social distancing. To be honest, they'll be as bad at it as the under 5s, because they just don't. It's just not possible. Just before we went into lockdown and we saw people in the pub, before we went into all of this, people weren't social distancing.
And we we're not miseries.
I want to go to the pub. I would love to go to the pub.
I'd love to go to the pub and Tiny Rebel and the Murringer and eat and drink and be merry and have a good old time. But we're not against pub. We're not miseries who don't go to the pub. We like going to the pub.
A bit of good news though. There's another thing I really want to do that I love, I've mentioned before, is I love a trip to the theatre. And they're going to be allowed back open on the 4th of July. Theatres and concert halls.
Brilliant. Love a trip to the theatre. Love a concert hall.
Little bit of a caveat on that though.
Oh.
Not allowed to do any live performances.
Say what?
How idiotic is that? So hello theatre, you can open, but you can't put on shows.
So what can they do?
Run bars, I guess.
So essentially they're going to be like large...
Have you ever been to a theatre bar as well? They're always tiny. So if they're only allowed to open, I guess...
The bar is tiny, but often they're in the
theatre will be big.
Often they're in the foyer of the bar, so there's big high ceilings. They're kind of cavernous, sparse, empty places with no atmosphere. Yeah. So it's basically they're just going to be like shit
it's also
pubs.
They're not even going to be able to be selling tickets to shows. So it's not even like the box office can open, because they can't schedule shows, because people can't make shows, they can't rehearse shows.
So is this, and this is just...
What is the point?
Is this just so they can go, right, well, you're open now, and you need to start bringing staff back in, and you can't be claiming all the furlough money?
I suspect it's to save money on furlough, and also to get the insurance companies out of paying any more business interruption insurance payments. Basically, they haven't got the money for it, and they're just going, arts can just crumble. The art scene, so music and the arts, I don't really see...
Never mind culture.
I don't really see how they're going to survive this, because they can't, like I say, you're not allowed to put on performances. You're not allowed to rehearse performances. So it's not like they can even work on stuff to do for when they are allowed to.
How does this affect like entertainment in pubs? Do we know?
I assume the same rule applies. I think
Because-
you're not allowed to have live performances.
So you're allowed to go to the pub, but you can't have someone in the corner of the room.
Their theory, I don't know if it would count for somebody using a microphone in the corner of the room. That might be okay. So speaking stuff might be fine. You can't have singing, because there was a big breakout in America that they actually then, it turned out it was a super spreader event, and it was tied very closely to a choir practice. And the suggestion that they've come to from that is that loud speaking or loud singing projects the droplets in your breath further, which actually, it was pretty impressive. It was a little bit less, but there was about 80 people at this practice. I think within 2 weeks, I think it was something like 80% of them were symptomatic. It was almost a clean sweep of everybody in that choir practice got corona from one person in that choir practice having it. So I think they've kind of gone, it's too risky, which if it's too risky, it's fair enough, but then don't tell them to open when they can't do anything. It would be like them saying to me, yes, escape rooms can open, but you can't put people in rooms. Like, thanks for that, guys. Because that's what they do. Theatres and concert halls put on plays, musicals, and concerts.
So when it turned out that it was the singing that was causing the issue, is that when Andrew Lloyd Webber suggested we bring back musicals but without singing?
He didn't suggest that. He was saying it was ridiculous that they had suggested that.
Who suggested that?
He was having a chat with the culture secretary, whoever that is, and the culture secretary went, well, one of the things we're looking at is allowing you to have musicals, but you can't have singing.
What does the culture secretary think a musical is?
I don't think he knows.
But that's the thing. That's another thing I was pondering about this. The fact that you can't have, you can have concert halls and you can have your theatres open, but you can't have live performance. To me, that's very sweeping, because there's a whole world of sort of nuance and variety.
Yeah, surely you could
in what
maybe
comes
do
in, like,
some level of
maybe
socially
you
distanced live performance.
Maybe
or
as live performance you can't have, a choir full of people singing, but maybe you can have a magician who will be doing, one guy on stage doing some tricks. He's not going to be shouting and
a mic'd
putting
up
too many
stand-up on
droplets.
stage.
Yes,
like...
a stand-up comedian, or several stand-up comedians taking it in turns, providing a comedy night, if you will. Or I don't know. Like, maybe there's a case by, but this seems very like just the people go, oh no, well, maybe they go, oh no, you can't have musicals, and that's all they think theatres do. Or
yeah,
concert
like
halls, or,
I think there's
like,
as with
could you
every
have-
single stage of this, there's been a distinct lack of actual sensible thought.
Like, so you can open a concert hall. Does that mean no
So
live,
go hang
no
out
live
in the Albert
performances?
Hall
So you can't
for
have
no reason.
You can't have a band.
Nope.
But can you have a DJ? Is that a live performance, or is that just someone playing records? Or if you can't have a DJ, can you have, just basically essentially a Spotify playlist?
They have said that cinemas can open, so I guess
concert
potentially they could. Somewhere like the Albert Hall could maybe do screenings of something with socially distanced audiences. So I guess there are things that maybe some specialist venues might be able to do, but your average theatre is going to require a cast to perform.
But could a concert hall go, we can't have a band, but you know what, we've got some big fuck off speakers, we're going to play loads of music, basically essentially a Spotify playlist or like a mixtape that someone's pre-mixed beforehand, we'll play that, and okay, and the people will respond to that as if there was a band, do you know what I mean? They'll still be dancing and interacting. It's not going to do any good, it just means you're costing a band some work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so lacking in any common sense. I think, unfortunately, I probably have to stop this about now.
Someone's got places to go.
I've actually got a place to go. That doesn't happen very often, and the novelty is exciting.
Wow, quite jealous.
You were invited, so you could have come.
Didn't want to.
Elle actually watches.
Actually, Elle is absolutely lovely. I just thought I'd let you guys have a girly night, and I would just chill. Apart from everything, it's just too hot to be going places.
Yeah, you haven't worn trousers all day.
No.
You've got to walk the dog though. You will have to put trousers on at some point.
I put a t-shirt on today. That was progress from yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's just honestly, well, if it's still this hot when they call me, but how do I cope most years? Because
I don't know.
it's so...
I think your tolerance for all of this has gone down.
Heat.
Yeah, it is hot, mind, but I don't
normally
handle
have to
the
wear
heat well
like
at the
but
best of times.
normally I'd be having to get up, walk 30 minutes to the train station, get on a crowded train, all of this in like a shirt and tie.
Ugh.
Just, can you imagine?
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh,
Can you imagine the hardships?
3 times a week.
Right.
All right.
We'll call that a day there. Don't forget the live stream on Sunday the 28th at 8 p.m. on YouTube, right here.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Donate to our coffee
Yeah,
account.
we've got a wedding to plan.
We'll put that money into pet food, and what we would have spent on pet food, we'll put to the wedding. How's that?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Not too shabby for us. We'll take charity.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. Thanks for that. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Like and subscribe. There is no shame in it.
Bye.
Bye.